Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Context Machine. This is episode 605. I'm Bryan Cheffin.
And I'm Jeff Gamet, and I cannot wait to see if our production team is actually recording the show today. In the meantime, check us out on contextmachine.io.
Yeah, right. That's our not new site that we keep calling new, but we'd appreciate it if you'd check it out. You can also use that site to reach out to us, or you can find us on post.news and on Mastodon.
And on Mastodon, yeah.
At Context Machine.
Yeah.
At
Bryan, I'm so happy
Machine.
to see you today.
I am. I can't actually see you, but sure. Happy to hear you.
Well, once we take that black sack off your head, then you'll be able to see me again.
Oh, okay. All right. The things are now coming into clarity. That's actually a fine segue to topic number one.
Actually, yes, it is.
Which is Slow Horses. It's the Apple TV Plus series. And I think that we both, I really like it. I think you like it too.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a big fan.
Gary Oldman is
brilliant.
Absolutely. He is just brilliant. So the thing that we're actually going to talk about is the fact that I've been reading the books. And Jeff asked me when we were chit-chatting pre-show, he asked me if he should read the books. And I said, let's talk about it on the show. So here's the interesting thing. No, there are lots of interesting things, but Gary Oldman is so picture perfect for this, for the part as written in the books.
Really?
He is.
Okay. That's cool.
He is playing, he hews closely to the character as created by, oh goodness, what's the author's name?
Mick Herron.
Mick Herron, thank you. Right. He is like when I read the books, I just finished the third book last night, which is Real Tigers. And the third season of Slow Horses is going to be based on the books. And by the way, I'll be very carefully not doing any spoilers.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't want to, but definitely don't want to spoil anybody's.
Well, and you certainly don't want to spoil it for me because you will never hear the end of it.
I know, right? And then when the dinosaur comes flying out of the sky. Oh, sorry.
That's it. I'm out.
So the when I read the books, I see Gary Oldman. And not just, I mean, it's like the script writers lifted him from the pages of the book, which is not necessarily the case with the other characters.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
okay.
This is Gary Oldman is channeling this guy so brilliantly. It is absolutely delight. But here's the thing: the show varies from the books.
That totally makes sense.
Okay. Now here's the thing. You have heard some of our listeners may have heard me rant about changing books, making changes in TV shows from books.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's
definitely,
the thing that bothers you?
Yes, it is. And you have listened to unending rants from me about some shows making some changes from their originating books.
Bryan speaks the truth.
Okay.
I have heard. I've been basically a therapy wall for Bryan for some of these things.
Yes, but here's the thing: I've been pretty consistent. If the change is going to make the show better or the movie better as a movie or a show, it doesn't bother me. And also for me, and this is super subjective, obviously, but for me, the more beloved the book, the more important the book, I think the less you should mess with it unless it makes the show or TV, the movie or TV show better. That
okay.
All right. That's I feel pretty strongly about that. Well, I don't think the Slow Horses books series, they're very, very good, and I'm enjoying the crap out of them. I don't think that they're important on the same level as, say, the Game of Thrones or the Lord of the Rings.
Really?
Yeah, they're just not. Just
I'm shocked to hear you say that.
One of my examples is the Robert Ludlum book, The Holcroft Covenant.
Okay.
70s thriller, Ludlum definitely built on, the shoulders of, say, Ian Fleming.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tom Clancy kind of ratcheted everything up multiple steps with his books, right? Building on the shoulders of Robert Ludlum, in my opinion. And the Holcroft Covenant was a 70s book. I really enjoyed it. There's a movie starring Michael Caine where they basically write out the first half of the book in the first 5 minutes of the movie. And
wow, okay.
And they turn 2 female characters into one of whom was the lead character's sister. But by the way, spoiler alert for the Holcroft Covenant. This movie was made in the 70s.
Oh my God, I can't believe you spoiled it for people that early.
I know, right?
I mean, yeah.
So one of the characters was the lead character's sister, and the other one was a love interest, and they just went ahead and combined those characters in the movie. But you know what?
Wow, okay.
It's the Holcroft Covenant. It's fine.
Well, as long as they didn't present the character as this is my sister and love interest.
No. They basically unsistered her but definitely combined the 2 characters. And so anyway, like these radical changes from the book. And again, it's the Holcroft Covenant. It's not the Lord of the Rings. It's not the Game of Thrones. It's not Hyperion, one of my favorite sci-fi books. So
The Expanse.
Not the, I don't know. You think Expanse is on the level of those other ones?
Have you read any of the books in the series?
Yeah, the first one.
I've read almost the entire series.
You think it's at the level of Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings in importance?
For modern sci-fi, I think it's incredibly important.
Okay.
I wouldn't, I mean, if I had to put it head to head with Lord of the Rings, no. But if I separate them out into genres, I think they're both very, very important properties in those spaces.
I am very comfortable with you being wrong on this.
Well,
it is completely
I'm
okay.
I'm very comfortable with letting you think that I'm wrong because I know it helps you feel better.
Superior. I think the word you're looking for is superior.
Superior. That's what I was trying to guess. Yes.
Okay. All right. Back to semi-seriousness. Slow Horses is really, really good. I'm personally completely okay with the changes. And here's the thing. The changes in the TV show, I think, make for a better TV show.
You know, I'm going to take us on a parallel track for just a moment, if you don't mind. And if you do mind, well, we're still going on a parallel track for a moment. It just might be a little more tense. So I've been watching.
I wasn't expecting that. Neither was Ichabod.
Anyhow. Okay. So I've been watching The Last of Us on HBO. And it's based on the video game of the same name, which I have never played. One of the things I'm enjoying about the series, by the way, it's really good. If you're not watching it, you should really check it out. At the end of each episode, they do a behind the scenes thing where they talk with the writers and producers and actors. And one of the things that they do in each episode in that end bit is say, so this is where we deviated from the story in the game, and this is why.
That's
and
great.
Yeah, and and like in one case, they did it because they felt like there's this great opportunity to really explore these other characters in the from the game, that in the game they're just like there, and now they become part of this world in a really interesting and compelling way. And yeah, so anyhow, I'm with you. If there's a good reason for changing it, then do it.
So I started.
Okay, now we can go back to the other track.
To the thing I was talking about, i.e. the important thing.
Right.
Okay, good. Excellent.
Tense.
There is one thing about, so I started the show with a super fan of the games, the game series, The Last of Us. Mm-hmm. Okay. And there's one thing I wish they had deviated. And there is a moment, I don't consider this a spoiler. You judge whether or not this is a spoiler. I don't think it's a spoiler. But there is a moment where two characters are separated by a burning car, and one character says, "You going without me? I'll catch up later." Like, have you considered maybe just stepping around the burning car?
Yeah, I'm not going to consider that a spoiler.
I just started laughing when that happened, and the person that I was, my buddy that I was watching the show with, who's again super fan of the game, said that he had noticed he had the same reaction when that exact scene played out in the game. I wish they had and all you have to do is just make it so that the car actually separates them, because like it's blocking off something, but like just step around the car, man. And I've been like making fun of it. Like I'll put like I've got this round drum table that's I don't know 18-20 inches across.
Okay.
And then my buddy will be sitting on the couch, and I'll stand on the other side of the drum table. It's like, I can't reach you, but I'll catch up to you later. I'm holding a gun across my chest.
We are so petty.
Otherwise, I am very much enjoying the show so far. I haven't seen the behind the scenes stuff. I'm actually very much looking forward to it, and I love them explain. I love the idea, at the very least, of them explaining not only that this is where we varied, but why. That's great. So
yeah, I'm finding it very interesting.
Back to Slow Horses. Books are really fun. The shows differ. Like it's more like how they sort of like mostly it's complexities about the plot, and in some cases they actually make some things more complex, and sometimes they make stuff a little bit less complex. Mm-hmm. And they do so in ways that I think make the show better. Now, I would like to point out that I watched the 2 seasons before I read a book. So it's possible I would have had my panties in a bunch if I had read the books first, but I don't think so. I don't think so. The changes they made make a lot of sense to me. The books, I think, are really, really good. There are currently 8 of them. I haven't done any research to know if the series is finished. I am hoping we get 8 seasons of the TV show. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah. Right. Slow Horses. Good show. Good books. They're available on Apple Books. They're available. The show is an Apple TV Plus show. I definitely recommend both. I think that, Jeff, you recommend the show?
Oh, absolutely. I really, really like Slow Horses. Excellent series.
Awesome. All right. Our other topic, man. There was this thing that happened that just, it gave me flashbacks. Like,
do tell.
I'm hearing what am I hearing there?
That's someone's car alarm.
Excellent.
So, yeah. Yeah, it's warm enough here, everyone, that on my side of the studio, I actually opened the window.
I was just worried that it was like an alarm telling you to evacuate. That's the only reason I paused.
If it was, I wouldn't have been here to hear you.
Oh, I see. You didn't need my permission. Okay, all right. Let me hold on. Make some notes here. Doesn't need me to let him know that he can. Okay, got it.
Would have been funny though. I mean, you sitting there, Jeff. Is that an alarm? Do we need to be worried, Jeff? Jeff?
Did I tell you about the guy that broke into my garage?
You did.
He so folks, the short version is this: caught a guy in my garage at 3 a.m. when I had taken my dog around the block, and when he came out, he's a young guy. He's looking at me and he goes, "My bad." and he kept saying that, and it just
set down this. Okay, the part that makes it even funnier for me. At first, it's not funny that someone was in your garage stealing
or
things.
that someone felt the need to do that.
Right.
I'm very cognizant of the fact that probably happened for a reason from his vantage point. But go ahead.
Yes, but he sees you and he says, "My bad," and puts down the bag of stuff that he was stealing from you.
Yes. Because he doesn't know what a teddy bear I am.
No, and that's okay. When you're in a situation like that, it's better that they feel intimidated and then maybe they leave and there's no confrontation and you get your stuff and no one's hurt.
Which you did. All right. So anyway, let's see. There's a thing that has happened many times. I felt very triggered when I read it. It was a headline argument. I didn't even read the article because I've read a million of them. And the headline argued that Apple is falling behind in self-driving cars and AI. And I just, to
be fair, Bryan, they're also falling behind in slow cookers and toaster ovens.
As far as we know, that's true.
Yeah.
And the reason why this triggers me so much is that, it's like, I've mentioned this a million times in various podcasts. I've mentioned it in writing columns about Apple over the years. There was an analyst who downgraded Apple because Apple had not articulated a strategy for competing against netbooks that didn't also cannibalize MacBook sales.
Yeah.
And which is so, it's not just stupid in hindsight. It was stupid at the time. It is bad reasoning. It is bad reasoning. Like Apple constantly gets underestimated by folks who aren't privy to what Apple is doing, and therefore presume that Apple is either doing nothing or is sucking at the doing. And even though it happens again and again and again and again and again, no one seems willing to learn from the past that Apple keeps its cards close to its vest until it's ready to do something.
Yes, and Apple has a long track record of letting other companies go to market first. And then they watch and see what works and doesn't, and they refine their products. And when they release whatever it is that they're going to put out into the market, it tends to be markedly better than what the competition had, and then suddenly they're not behind anymore.
Right, they're suddenly the market leaders, and everybody is playing catch up. Now, there is an excellent example that is the proof in the pudding. And that's TVs. Right? Gene.
Oh my God. I was thinking about the TVs. Yeah, please continue.
Gene Munster said for years that Apple was working on a TV, and Apple never announced the TV. And then there would be leaks coming out of Taiwan in particular, and sometimes, usually Taiwan, from what is that one site? The one site that always got bagged on.
Digitimes?
Yeah, right. That unfairly got maligned all the time for being wrong, when in fact they got better and better and better about being right. I always said about Digitimes that their leaks almost always prove to be accurate. It's the conclusion that their writers came up with based on their leaks that was often wrong. Mm-hmm. But even that got better over time. Okay. So with that in mind, we had all these leaks about, Apple, testing TVs or Apple is doing this or Apple is doing that in the TV space. And G Munster was saying that Apple is working on a TV, and Apple never announced a TV. And then a few years later, we found out that yes, Apple had been working on a TV. They didn't bring it to market because they decided they couldn't control enough technology to be able to maintain their lead.
All right. Well, that's a good reason for Apple not to bring the product to market.
Right. And it is the proof in the pudding that we don't necessarily know what Apple is doing, but if they bring it to market, it's probably going to be good. And if they can't bring it to market with and be ahead, or I think and I guess we don't know if this is still true, but Apple used to want to be able to control at least two aspects of a product in order to keep the competition from simply being able to just copy them.
Well, I think that's still true. I mean, look at
it's probably still true.
Oh no, it's absolutely true. Look at what they're doing with Apple Silicon.
Yeah,
that is all about having complete control.
Right, and to be fair, they tried for years to get Intel to care about what they cared about, which was low power consumption and processing power. And Intel said, we don't need to, we're not really worried about that. And then so Apple said, okay, fine, we'll do it ourselves. And now they control it.
And now they control it. And we have heard reports that Apple is working on their own chips for like Wi-Fi, and I believe modems. They are. Modems. And
which may or may not still happen.
It'll probably happen. Just I think the reports that we'll see Apple's own modem chips in the iPhone 15 are probably wrong. I think it's a little bit farther out than that. But Apple wants to control every part, and one of the best ways they can do that is to take control of the chips, which historically has been a problem for them, meaning that they have to rely on other chip makers, and it ends up being an issue.
Right. So that brings us back to the cars and the AI stuff that this article on Seeking Alpha was talking about. Now, again, I didn't read the article. I kind of didn't care what the guy had to say.
I have a hypothesis.
Go ahead.
I'm going to bet the article was triggered by the fact that we have ChatGPT and Bard. And with both of those things being out there now, they're looking at that and saying, "Oh, well, look, Apple doesn't have Super Siri, so they're clearly falling behind in AI."
Yeah, probably that may well have been what triggered it. And of course, Apple has yet to announce a car. Apple has yet to officially announce that they're even making a car. However, we have incontrovertible proof that they have been working on a car. It is always possible that Apple will never release a car. That Apple will get to that point where they decide they either can't do it well enough or they can't control the necessary technologies or components closely enough to keep folks from copying them. That is 100% still possible. Same thing is true with VR and AR glasses or whatever it is that Apple's going to do. But we do know that Apple's working on it. And we also know very strongly, because Apple does have products here, that Apple is working on AI. And Apple has said very specifically, going back several years, that their focus has been on having Siri be able to understand us so that we don't have to train ourselves to work with Siri.
Right. And I'm glad you brought that up, because this is one of the points where when I'm talking with people about the various voice assistants, they tell me, well, the A lady is better than the S lady. And And they say it's because it's more reliable. And okay, sure. There are aspects where, yeah, that's kind of the case. However, for all the bagging I do on S Lady, with the A Lady, it's about training us to say the things that will trigger what the A Lady is supposed to do.
Yeah,
it's not about that platform learning what we say and how we say it, and then making that stuff happen.
Yeah, with the A Lady and to a much
G Lady,
and to a much less extent, but still the G Lady. Can we call that the? Okay, no, I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, you'd end up sending me a message later on saying you actually did edit that out.
Probably. With the A Lady and the G Lady, it's rote responses. The voice assistants are being triggered. They're not responding. They're not responding. And Apple's responses are in fact lesser, but there's just something that's fundamentally better to me in Apple's approach, at least for the long term. Now, go. Were you going to say something?
Oh yes, yeah. I have hope for the long term for Apple's voice platform and AI efforts. Where it stands today, if someone were to come up to me and say, all things being equal, here are the parameters that I want, and they're just telling me I want to be able to say the thing to the thing, and it just does it, I would tell them, go get an Echo and use the A Lady. And yes, you're being trained on what to say to make it work, but it's actually going to do it. Whereas with the S Lady, we're on this roller coaster where we have this kind of dysfunctional relationship with a voice platform that sometimes works, and we get a software update, and then something breaks. And like, for example, right now we're on, what is it? HomePod OS 16.3, iOS 16.3.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yep.
And or maybe 16.3.1. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. Where we are right now, there are some fundamental elements of how voice control is working that will work, but are also kind of broken, and it's very frustrating. So yeah, there's a long way to go. All right, actually, as I'm saying this, here's the real problem that I have. This is why I'm so frustrated with the S Lady right now, and it's because I know I believe I know what Apple is capable of, and it is so much more than we have today. And I want that now. I don't want to wait 5 or 10 years for it. I just want it now.
Now, to be fair to Apple critics in this regard, it is possible that Apple will fail at their goal here of having privacy, right? Using differential learning to help keep our stuff private. They will fail in their efforts of keeping our local data on our local devices protected and encrypted. That they will fail at being able to make that usable. That they will fail in being able to make the S Lady be able to understand natural language in a way that truly makes it natural to communicate with her. It is possible that they will fail, like that not having a search engine is going to mean that they will perpetually be behind in terms of what the S Lady can understand and then seek out. These things are possible. However, what we have is a long track record of Apple when they do something that it works. Apple Maps would be the big exception that proves that rule.
Well, Apple Maps works now.
It does now. It eventually worked, but it's one of the things that when it was released, it was very problematic and then got better.
Yes. Okay. And while people really, really bag on Apple for that, this is exactly what Microsoft does. They release something, and it may not be very good. In fact, it may be kind of crap, but they will keep hammering away relentlessly and they will improve and improve and improve. And eventually that thing that was hot garbage in the beginning can turn into a really good and useful product.
Yeah, I saw another headline. Again, didn't read the story, but another headline about Satya Nadella or someone at Microsoft. I thought it was Satya, who's the CEO of Microsoft, crediting a bad 2016 rollout of an AI chat feature that led to ChatGPT. That crediting that for being where they are today, which is actually ahead of Google. Speaking to your point.
Yeah. Bryan, do you remember Apple's Knowledge Navigator video?
I do. It's been a very long time since I watched it, but yes.
Okay, I'll make sure there's a link to it in the show notes.
Excellent.
And I bring this up because what I hope is that all of these companies that are working really hard on bringing us the next level of AI for interaction with humans have this video played on a regular basis. Because to me, that's like the standard we should all, we meaning all these companies, should be shooting for. Because you want something that can learn and react and then anticipate and then communicate with you in a way that feels very natural and very human. And that's what we see in the Knowledge Navigator video. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, back in the late 80s, Apple
90s.
I think it was before the 90s.
It's the early 90s. I'm going to look it up. Like you keep describing, I'm going to look it up.
Okay, so Apple made this kind of proof of concept video where this guy walks into his office.
87, man.
Dude,
I'm so sorry.
Your apology.
Yes, absolutely. My humble apologies. I was convinced that was a 90s product. Please go ahead.
Okay. Wow. I'd say I'm speechless, but I'm really good at continuing to talk. But wow. Anyhow, so this guy walks into his office and here's this sort of like tablet thing sitting on his desk, sort of like an iPad, and it talks to him like an actual person, and it's his assistant. And this device tells him about his schedule for the day and interacts with him in a natural language way. Helps him or like reads his messages to him, helps him reply to them, sets up appointments, and starts like a video chat with someone else. And it's this whole thing where it's that personal assistant that's just there and is smart enough to be able to interact with you and be helpful and anticipate what you're doing. This is a video all of these companies should be watching on a regular basis. And
this was a John Scully led effort after Steve Jobs left, was forced out of his power position, and then chose to leave Apple. And then it was one of the first things. It led to the Newton. The Knowledge Navigator led to the Newton, and then that was one of the very first things that Steve killed when he came back.
Yeah, and the irony is that there were elements from Newton OS that carried over into Mac OS 10 and iOS and iPad OS.
Yeah. Do you remember Inkwell?
Yeah.
Inkwell was going to be the thing that could actually read our handwriting, that essentially came from Newton. Was announced.
Not essentially. It did come from the Newton.
You were correct. I'm sorry. Came from Newton. Inkwell came from Newton technology, was added to Mac OS, I think it was during a keynote, and then nothing.
I played with Inkwell a lot. Okay, part of the problem was for Inkwell to really work for people, and in many cases to even get it to show up as a thing they could use, yeah, you had to have a graphics tablet connected to your computer.
Right.
And you wouldn't even see the preference pane for it if you didn't have a graphics tablet. I did, and so I learned how to use it. And there would be times where I would be working at my desk and I would be carrying on conversations in at the time iChat. And instead of typing to people, I was writing.
Wow.
And I was getting converted into text. You and I have had conversations where that was a thing. And you didn't even know that I wasn't typing.
Slut.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Not slut shaming you.
There's nothing wrong with being a slut, and whatever term you choose to use to describe who you are, good for you.
Absolutely.
I'm proud of you for being you.
100%.
Yeah, I think there were times where I would send you like a quick drawing of something. Like here's an idea for a graphic or whatever. And I was actually drawing it on my tablet.
Why did you never mention that you were sending that to me via Inkwell? You and I have talked about Inkwell before, and we've lamented how Apple seemingly did never do anything with it.
I'm sure that back when I worked for Mac Observer, I wrote something about doing that. It's very possible that in whatever I wrote, I said that I was sending you stuff that I was doing with Inkwell. But yeah, eventually that kind of became not a thing for me. And,
sure.
But that still carried on. It's probably not that same code anymore, but you can write on your iPad screen with an Apple Pencil.
Oh, I'm sure it's the same code. I mean, it's based on the same code. There's no way that Apple isn't still using some aspect of that.
Yeah, very likely. When you would pull an icon out of your dock to get rid of it on your Mac, and you get the little cloud poof and it goes away. Mm-hmm. That was code and graphics from Newton OS.
Fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a little bit off track. The fact that Apple is still working on AI stuff, to me, says that what they're working on, Apple believes will do what they want. And yes, ChatGPT is impressive. Yes, Bard was like, I don't know what the heck Google was thinking. That was one of the biggest stumbles I think that Google has ever made with its Bard demo.
It was certainly an egg on the face moment for them, a very big egg, which right now with limited availability of eggs, you don't want that on your face.
You really don't.
No.
It's expensive.
I think in that case, Google should have taken a page from Apple's playbook and just not done anything. I mean, we have 100%. Known, it's been no secret that Google has been working on some really advanced AI technology. I mean, there was a news thing, was it last year, about the guy that was working on Google AI technology. And he genuinely believed that he was working with technology that had attained sentience.
Yeah, now,
okay,
he's wrong.
So he was wrong, absolutely. But the point is that Google is working on some incredibly advanced AI technology. They did not need to do a reactionary thing to OpenAI's ChatGPT and say, yeah, but look what we're doing.
It is okay
they could have played it like Apple and just been like, yeah, isn't that cute?
It is okay for OpenAI and Microsoft, who is using OpenAI's ChatGPT, to have leapfrogged and be ahead right now. That's okay. You don't need to react to it. At least it turns out they didn't ask either one of us.
We don't know if they really did leapfrog what Google's doing. What we know is that Google rushed a demo and it included wrong information. Here's the thing. ChatGPT gives you wrong information all the time. ChatGPT is a pathological liar. It is digital mansplaining to the extreme, and it will tell you anything, but it will say it with confidence.
Excellent. By the way, for the record, do you remember that one of my things about drugs, and one of the reasons why I initially made the decision when I was younger to not partake in recreational drugs was there are numerous reasons. One of those reasons is that as I was growing up and I was really, really into music, and I would read all these stories about these musician heroes that I have, and I would so often come across stories, anecdotes, tales, whatever, of reports even of that would credit both the triumphs and failures of musicians or artists on drugs. Mm-hmm. Like, they did their best work when they were, in this heavy period of drug use, et cetera. And I didn't want, and by the way, if you feel differently about this, that's, and I'm completely okay with anyone who thinks that I'm Looney Tunes about this and who feels differently about their own choices. I'm not talking about casting judgment. I just want to be responsible for my own triumphs and failures. I don't want people saying that, like, if, that I wrote a good song, or I recorded a good song, or I wrote a good book, or I didn't write a good book, that it was because of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay, that's fair and reasonable.
So in the same regards, I am not really touching ChatGPT, because I don't want anyone to turn around and say that I wrote a good story because I had help from an AI.
I will very openly say that I have experimented with ChatGPT. However, I have not used anything that I've generated through ChatGPT in anything that I have written for any of my clients. For me, it's about feeling the need to understand the technology and to see what it's capable of and what it's not capable of. So, I have absolutely played with ChatGPT. I have an account, and I find it to be absolutely fascinating, and at the same time, absolutely ridiculous. Did I tell you I had it write a personal bio for me?
No. How'd it go?
It sounds completely plausible, and it's also surprisingly wrong. Hold on. I am going to share this with you because, while I'm sitting here and copying and pasting something that is compelling for an audio show. There we go. Okay. So when you look at this bio that ChatGPT wrote for me, it sounds good, and it sounds plausible. There's enough that's right in there, barely, to make it seem like this could be correct. And if you didn't know, that's
interesting. Are you going to include that in the show notes? You should include the entirety.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll include the whole thing in the show notes. It's interesting. All right, so when
you include it, include a point out what's not right about it, so that people understand. People who don't already know you.
Okay, yeah,
can understand.
So for those of you that are listening right now, most of what it includes about my work history, the specifics about my work history as a journalist in the Apple community, is wrong. Yes.
Well, the words are correct. It's the facts that are wrong.
Yeah, managing editor of the Mac Observer, that's correct.
But you're not currently.
Not currently. And then the other job positions that it says I held at the Mac Observer, first, don't exist, and second, I didn't have. I never wrote for Macworld ever.
I missed that part. Oh yeah, look at that. Contributing editor for Macworld. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it really it skates in and out of accuracy. It borrows from accurate words to it's like early Digitimes. It's it's drawing. It's the source material is probably right. The conclusions that ChatGPT reached about you are wrong.
Yeah. And then the end, you can decide for yourself if it's accurate or not. The ending says Gamut is well known for his expertise on Apple and its products and has a reputation providing in-depth and accurate reporting on the company and the technology industry.
Well, that's accurate. It's very awkwardly worded, but it's accurate. That's probably one of the most accurate things in the piece.
So,
no, yes.
Well, then thank you.
Well, seriously, that's entirely correct. It's very poorly worded. It's poorly written, but it's correct.
It reads to me like so many of the bios I've read about people that are speaking at conferences.
Yes, it does. Very much so. I agree with that.
So anyhow, yes, I have definitely been playing with ChatGPT. Content that it generates, I will not use in anything that I'm actually writing.
That is entirely fair. I get it. I'm going to take that a step further. Personally, at least at this point, I'm going to take a step further, and I'm not even going to go to it because I don't want anyone to have any ammunition. Oh, wait, I did actually. I wrote for an AI art NFT project where I know the creator of that project, and she had asked me to use ChatGPT to write a fairy tale about one of the characters in her AI art series that I'd bought.
Okay.
And I did that. So I did use it to make to make that fairy tale, and that was very specifically like that's all I'm going to do, because I don't want anybody to be able to say, oh, if my book is good, if anyone ever ends up reading my book and they decide it's good, I don't want them deciding it's because of an AI.
All right, that's fair.
So, all right, back to Apple and AI and cars. The fact that my very strong feeling is that the fact that Apple is still working on a car means they believe that they're going to be able to do something special, or at the very least competitive.
I think that you don't need to roll it back to at least competitive. I think it's safe to just say something special. Apple executives have said on more than one occasion, and Tim Cook is one of the executives that have said this, that Apple isn't going to go into any market where they can't do something that they feel is unless they can do something that is meaningfully better. They can bring something better to the market than any of the competition. They're not going to do it.
Right. And to me, Apple has the track record to back that up. So anyone saying, like, it is one thing to argue, the industry, whatever industry, VR, AR, cars, self-driving cars, electric cars, car, in-car software control systems. Let's say that, like Apple just eventually has software that it's going to sell to, other car makers instead of
sort of like
releasing its own car.
CarPlay 2.
Right. CarPlay 2 that actually maybe runs your whole car or something to that effect. Whatever industry you want to hone in on that Apple is not already competing, and you want to argue that the rest of the industry is advancing at a very brisk clip, and that Apple maybe runs the risk of being left behind in terms of market perception, or that even that's a pretty sketchy argument, because, I remember hearing about how Apple was way late to the smartphone business.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
And way late to the tablet business, and way late to the netbook business. And, Apple destroyed the netbook industry with the iPad. Destroyed it. Just destroyed the netbook. Netbooks are a thing where many of the people listening just now had to go, netbooks? Oh yeah, I remember.
My guess is that most of our listeners that have kids in school, they're not saying netbooks. What's that? Because they know exactly what they are. That's what their schools are buying and giving to the kids to use.
Still?
Oh yeah.
Oh, still.
Oh yeah.
Still.
You can go ahead and live in denial on that one.
I think that Surface. I think that Surface and iPad have largely taken over and Chromebooks. And Chromebooks aren't netbooks.
Yeah. Chromebooks are an evolution of netbooks.
Yeah, I think they're substantially better than the crappy netbooks that were netbooks back when netbooks were netbooks.
Okay, well that's fair. So
okay, convoluted but fair. Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah. All right. So netbooks and their evolution into Chromebooks, that's what's used in schools. It's not Surface. It's not iPad, unless it's
Chromebook, Surface, and iPad. In that order.
Chromebooks. Yeah. All right. It's Chromebooks and then distant second and third, Surface and iPad.
I accept your apology. So
I tolerate your stretch to make it work.
So the fact that Apple, I was saying that if you want to argue that Apple is so slow to market that they're losing opportunity, that's a fine argument to make. Again, historically, it's probably not a position I'd want to stake out, but that's fine. But to say that Apple is falling behind in any industry that Apple has not announced its plans, that is a fool's errand. And we've been seeing it since Steve Jobs came back to Apple and died. He since has died. What has it been? It's been 11 years since it's been 11 years since Steve Jobs died. So in the 14 years that he was running Apple, what was it, right? 98, and he died in 2011. It's about 14 years, and it's been 11 years coming up. I guess we're in the 12th year of the anniversary of his passing. Or we're approaching the 12th anniversary of his passing. Like, in all of that time, people that have made that argument have been shown to be wrong. So don't do it now.
And yet they will continue to do it.
They will continue to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pet peeve of mine. The intellectual weakness of it is a real pet peeve of mine.
When you looped us back into it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, right. That's what the topic was. I had totally forgotten.
You're welcome. Maybe?
Sure.
Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah. Right. All right. Jeff, I feel like that's a natural breaking point. What do you think?
Yeah, we're so broken. Yeah, it's a natural breaking point.
Okay. Well, then let me do that one thing where I do this. And then I'll say that is this week's Apple. Ooh. 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 I was really taken back, apparently. That is this week's context machine. This week it actually was all about Apple. Slow horses and all this other stuff. If you have anything to comment on, add, or question, you can write us at contextmachine.io. Our bandwidth is provided by CacheFly. Bass was recorded by Dr. Boom, just for us.
Dr. Boom.
Dr. Boom, yo. And Jeff, thanks, man. Oh, where are you? You're in the socials, right?
I am on the socials. Yeah. Much like you can find me on Mastodon, Instagram, or whatever. I'm Jay Gammett. I'm basically everything.
Yeah, but you're wrong. They cannot find me at Jay Gammett.
Well, they can find you. They just won't see anything happening.
No, no, but I'm not at Jay Gammett. I'm at Geek Tales.
Oh, right. I screwed that up a lot.
Yeah. Good effort to try to like get all my super fans in for okay, whatever, Jeff.
Hey, super fans of mine, go check out Geek Tales on Instagram. Okay, granted, Bryan hasn't posted anything there recently, but he's a really good photographer, so you're going to see some good art.
Thank you, Jeff. I love you.
I love you too.